Hello, my friends. So, I wanted to do the final layout I need to complete for the Inspired by Memories Rainbow Challenges. And they're color-based, and the one I need to work on is the one for green. So, I also had one more set of pictures to scrapbook for Christmas. So, this is going to be a Christmas in May kind of layout. And at Inspired by Memories as well, there is this sketch right here that was recently put up. So I'm going to, it's always loosely with me, but loosely work on this sketch while I'm working on this green challenge. So I'll put that right there. And let me tell you what these photos are. I turned them black and white because they were really kind of yellowed out anyway. But this is a photo of my youngest daughter, she's right here, and my mother. And my youngest daughter on Christmas decided to give her grandmother cornrows for some reason that I don't really know, but she was a little bit alarmed. She had no idea what Ryan was doing to her hair, but it was just kind of funny. So that's what that is. So what I'm going to do is green this up as much as possible. Chances are I'm going to put a little bit of red in just so it's at least mildly interesting. Like I have all these little funny pieces, like this little Christmas tree on a toothpick. Don't know why, but I have it. So I'm going to go ahead and play with some bits and pieces, do this layout, and I'm going to fast forward the next bit so that it's not too long and boring. All right, here I go. So what you see me doing on my phone right here is I'm going ahead and trying to figure out what criteria I want to fulfill for this challenge, because for the latter part of these rainbow challenges we were given kind of a bingo grid and we couldn't use the same row twice, and some of the criteria were a little tricky. It was like paper weaving or hand stitching or machine stitching or different things, but since you couldn't use the row twice, you couldn't just roll along with your favorite ones that you wanted to do the first time. So what I am using here for this challenge is I have 2 iris boxes full of Christmas supplies. And I was waiting to finish this layout to put them away, so they've just been kind of lurking around my scrap room, taking up space. So I'm really excited that I went ahead and started working on this. You see I'm using ATG tape there, and that's because it no longer wanted to be in my tape gun. But I refused to go ahead and just waste the remaining tape. So I figured you'll have to go through the painstaking unrolling of it with me. It's not that big of a deal. I just really like to maximize my supplies as much as I can. Now, since this layout here is green based, I'm grabbing a bunch of green first. And then I feel like like you can't even see the pictures because it's drowning in green. Green is a good thing. Green is what the layout's for, but I think I need a little something to offset. So I find this little scrap of red, and due to the fact that it is a Christmas layout, I figure this is going to work just fine to give me just a little offset color in this layout. Now the other big bin thing that I have laying around my scrap room, I have those IKEA containers. You know, the ones that they come in gray, white, and I think there's some new pattern, whatever it is. And it's full of my Valentine kit still, so I have a couple Valentine layouts that I have got to get done. I'm sure I'll be getting them done in June, but I really want to disperse that kit out. I mean, 90% of it I could use at any time of the year. You know, it's all kinds of hearts and all that kind of stuff, but I do want to put aside my true Valentine supplies and just be able to concentrate on the current kits that I'm trying to kill off. It's somehow spun out of control on me. So I saw this cute little banner that says Mary that's on this cardstock sticker sheet, and I decided that I wanted to incorporate them. And also there's this really large pine tree, Christmas tree, however you want to think about it. And I believe one of the criteria on my challenges was to use a large shape. So the large shape I'm using is a tree. And it's quite overwhelming. If it wasn't green on green, it might be too much. So I thought that was kind of cool. So I started rifling through my little Christmas bins and I found this little Merry Christmas bag. I think I got that in a Redefine Creative Secret Not Secret. What was an Advent little calendar gift set thing. It's not a calendar, it's like just goodie bags for each day. And I really liked the craft bags, so that's getting used. I'm all about using the truly like dedicated Christmas things on Christmas layouts if I can. That way, if I needed to just use like green polka dot paper on something else, I can easily pull it out if I'm in the middle of a challenge or something like that. But the stuff that's like super specific to holidays, I love getting them used up for those specific layouts. I'd like to apologize for the little furry fella that's right below me. I'm at my kitchen table and my youngest dog needs to be like practically attached at the hip to me, so he is snoring away like a little freight train. So I needed to have a long title, I believe was one of the criteria that I had to use. So it's going to be Merry Christmas Cornrows. And what you see me doing right here, the title's not on yet. I was just getting it put onto some wax paper. I'm just looking for other little bits and pieces that might work on this layout. I think distressing was one of the criteria as well. I'll go over all that at the end in the live part, I'm pretty darn sure. So I'm hunting and pecking through my goodies and so that I can add to it. Then I realized that washi tape was one of the criteria, so I go ahead to start using this adorable truck washi that apparently I've never used it before, but it's the kind that likes to split and be a bit of a pain. I'm tearing this upper part of my pattern paper because distressing was going to be one of my criteria as well. So I decided to scuff up and distress the top and add a little more interest. And ancillary benefit, the back of this paper is in a black tone, so it really gives us a nice color difference from the green. I do love me some green, but I'm needing to break it up just a little bit on this one, although it's definitely pro-green. So I have this little scrap of red that I just go ahead and put there, and it's giving us the green and the red perfectly fine. That green star that I have on the upper left portion, that doesn't end up staying. It ended up being way too much of a clash for my eye. It has a lot more of an olive tone to it. And the green that I'm using on this page is a lot closer to a park bench green. So that ends up just not working for me that well. So I have the washi. I'm going ahead and putting it into 3 spots so your eye keeps getting drawn to all the different little bits there. So I went off screen and did machine stitching in 3 places on this layout. It adds both texture and it also meets one of the criteria for the green challenge for the row I ended up using. And I'm going to go ahead and put on my title. I think I'm going to fast forward because it tends to be a bit painstaking when I do titles. So the next criteria I'm trying to knock out is I was supposed to use buttons in the row I was going to use. And these are cardstock buttons. They have pretty nice buttonholes on it, so I'm able to get twine in there. And what I also do is to take down a little bit of the thickness on them. They're really nice and sturdy. Is I go ahead and peel off part of the sticky part of the cardboard just to make them slightly thinner. So for the next criteria, sequins was a part of it. So I'm going into my little goodie bin. It has enamel dots, gems, and sequins in it. And I had both red and green in these pretty darn prominent sequins. I found them one day at Meijer. They're just on some end cap, and I'm so rarely in Meijer. I must have been out of town. But they were 50 cents a pack, so I bought each color that they had. In retrospect, I should have bought all the gold. I don't know why I didn't. I use gold on so much. But, you can't go back. Then I also go ahead and grab these matte black enamel dots for my 3rd color. So I have red, green, and black in my little clusters. And I also go ahead and find a spot for these They're like shiny, puffy stars, and they're in a couple different tones of green, but I do end up using those in my clusters as well. And you see there, I'm having a little coffee break in my little Starbucks France mug. My mom went on a World War II tour at one point by herself, and she brought me back a Starbucks mug, which I thought that was nice for her to schlug it all the way home from France for me. So I believe one of the last criteria was a stamp and ink, so I'm kind of cheating out a little bit by using a date stamp. There is ink, there's a stamp. It's that old school Heidi Swapp stamp, with her writing on it. Still, that's my very favorite date stamp, and I haven't been using it enough, so I thought that would be fun. And I do stamp excess off in a few different places on the layout. It's adding just a little bit of a textural what is that, and you can't even read it, but I did end up liking that look. And I'm going through this little bin of odds and ends that I have. I got those little wood embellishments from a Christmas swap I had done a couple years ago, and it was really sweet. The nicest lady and I exchanged, they were like these big envelope letter things. It was the first time I had ever done it. I thought it was a lot of fun though. So I end up going ahead and putting my little wood pieces in 3 different places, and I also added that little joy sticker in the black and the red to that top piece. I needed to fill in a little bit of that pattern paper so it made sense how the photo block worked. And so I did that. I put December 25th, and yes, I know my date stamp's already there, but I can seriously only use the December 25th for Christmas layouts, so I wanted to get that in. I have a little sleigh there that I'm tucking into that ripped area, and this cute little jumping reindeer on the bottom right portion. Now I do have deer in my yard every day, so that's one of those things that if I had to, I could sneak into my Christmas stuff and pull it out and go ahead and use that. But that's what you see me doing. I'm trying to tuck it in, and then I go ahead and put this green sticker star on top of that to draw more attention to it up there. And then I realized my enamel dot wanted to go sliding around a little bit, so I went ahead and used some liquid adhesive to keep that little guy sitting straight on there. So I'm just going ahead seeing if there's anything else that needs to be on this layout. The layout is busy but feels simple at the same time. I don't know. All right, so we're going to go ahead and go live. Here we go. All right, my friends, I just finished up this layout. It feels so weird to do a Christmas layout this time of year. So this was supposed to be green, 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 green. So I kept as green as I could. And what I used for my Inspired by Memories bits that I had to use inks/stamps, machine stitching, sequins, buttons, and washi tape. And I did use all of them. I have primarily green. And if you remember, this right here is the sketch that I chose to use for this layout. So that's it for today. Be sure to like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. And I will be back with you with not a Christmas layout. The only holiday I'm super behind feeling on is Valentine's Day, so I have a feeling that's going to come soon. Okay, we'll see you guys. Bye-bye.